Hey, what's up, Wilson?
Hey,
Nothing.
Wilson Miles, Black for TV. Steven, what's up with the glasses? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
He's got 1,000 pair, let me tell you.
I
you
do.
know, I feel like, watching your character is like watching Les Mis. Like this is a cop that won't let go. He's so relentless. What makes your character so irresistible, charming? And it's like, okay, is he just going to chill out a little bit?
No, no, he's not. Well, we'll see. Season two, you'll get a different flavor from him, but I don't think he can chill out on his obsession with trying to get Meech. I think it's a driving force, not only for the show, but I think it's a driving force for the character because ultimately, I think he's been hurt by Meech, and that's really how you can be driven to go after somebody, right? They have to hurt you, and I think by his killing of his former partner or being, part of the group and the killing of the other guy that I brought to him. And I'm discovering that there's a lot of different layers to how hurt I am. And now in order to deal with that, I'm obsessed with putting him in the ground. Now I won't do I just about anything. I won't just shoot up and shoot him. I won't set him up and falsely put stuff on him. But beyond that, I think I'm willing to do just about anything else.
Like, somewhere along the line, his compass is now righted its ship. Last season, you didn't know he was topsy turvy. Like, do you root for the guy? Do you not? Is he a bad cop or not? Here, we're getting one way, and that's also thanks to Kelly's character. Which is interesting because when you look at the law enforcement in the Power series, when it comes to the women, they're strong-willed, and you come in here, man, right off the bat, this ain't no weak partner. She's coming in here, she's backing him up. How else would you describe your character?
Well, she has to be strong, right? She's got to be a hard charger to be a woman and Asian on the force in the 80s. It was a difficult time, I think, and she would have to have proven herself in order to be able to get as far as she has. And I think that Jin really, unlike Bryant, plays by the book. She thinks that she can get the job done, still, working within these certain parameters, playing by the book. And I think her biggest challenge at the moment is trying to get Bryant to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, he's always going off and doing his own thing and icing her out, not giving her the proper information. I don't know that he's hiding anything from me. I just think that he is doing his own thing and just, not trusting me as a partner. So I think that in this season, in the beginning of the season especially, is just her trying to break in to
I
him.
think that's the core of the show. It's the level of trust that no one has with each other. Things would be such simpler if you talk to her, you talk to him, and even the other characters. It's because they don't talk to each other. We get to watch this episode after episode. We say to ourselves, when are they going to find out? When are they going to find out? And so for Steve, it's like Brian. It's like, what does it take for him to find a partner that he can trust and say, okay, even though we're just meeting, I'm gonna still have to feel you out because I don't know if you're in here to watch over me and set me up, or I can trust you all the way.
Well, I mean, you have to go through that. But here's the thing: that's what everybody does. Whatever partner, when you meet a girl, guy, whatever, you trying to chat them up and you're doing whatever, you're coming up with degrees of what you're willing to tell them, what you're not willing to tell them, what they're willing to tell you, how you can get close, and then what your objectives are have a certain. So I don't think that that's any different. I just think that he has so much baggage in his history that could cost him in having a partnership with her on the force if she were ever to discover these sort of things. So ultimately, if he's never willing to share some of that stuff in order to explain why he's so obsessed with going after this particular human being, it will still be a hard thing. She will always be under the guise of being tested. She's come to my home base. I haven't come to hers, right? So in that regard, that's just part of it. But I think that's part of it's clearly being heightened because of what we do on the show. But I think that's another thing that people do all the time. This is clearly heightened because of, like I said, what I have in my history. But you have to go through that before you can become real partners. And part of that would be me sharing something that puts me in a vulnerable position with her and trusting her with that and being able to ride that all the way out. And I'm assuming, even though, it's the case with me, that would be the same with her as well, so that a partnership is truly a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, you mentioned earlier the 80s, women, Asian, did you do a deep dive to see where they stood amongst the police force during that time period?
Absolutely. And we're talking, this coming right off the heels of the Vincent Chin murder, right? Where there was a lot of anti-Asian sentiment in Detroit at the time with the Japanese automakers. People were bashing Japanese cars and, killing Asians because they were taking their jobs. I mean, it was a very, very difficult time for the Asian community in Detroit and in the United States, period. I mean, there's so much history to unpack. I loved doing the research coming into this character because, Jin's got so much baggage herself, but the time, the 80s in Detroit, the climate, I mean, there was just so much going on. It was really fun to be able to do this.
Steve, now that we got a season 2, hopefully everybody can feel a little bit relaxed. I always think that the first season of any series, it's all about let's do well enough. Let's hope there's an audience and that we can come back. We don't know. And then when you get that call that the show's been renewed, there's a little bit of level of comfort there. Like, okay, now the writers can flesh more out within the characters. How was it on the set this time around? Does everybody's skill set get better knowing that, like, okay, we're good to go. We're back. For some of these actors, it was their first time being on TV, first time doing a series. Is there a level of comfort for some of the regulars and for, as well as, did Kelly, and then once you answer that, did you get comfortable once you came in there? Did they make you feel at home? So Steve first.
Okay, so I don't. The level of comfort is interesting because we're still dealing with pandemic type situations on set, which changed how the first year how that went was drastically different than the second year because it was just a little more lenient the second year just on that, even though every other day you had to be tested, right? So that had a different flavor and feel to it but I also think when you get the approval of people, when you put on a show like this and you get the approval of people, any show, and they say, we want you back for another year, there's a sense of excitement. There's a sense of looking forward to what else can we do with this? How much further can we go? How deeper we can get into these characters? How we want to play with it? That always makes it kind of fascinating. And then when you're dealing with a show like ours, which is really loosely based on something that actually happened, how much are they going to really tell about what these cats were doing as we progress further into their lives? How much more are we going to go into it? How much are we going to stretch it and that sort of thing? So yeah, there's a sense of excitement. There's a sense of change. I can't wait till we can do it without having masks on our face, though. And, just taking them off so we can shoot and then putting them back on. I mean, that would be something that goes back to the old days. So it's vastly different. But at the same time, you definitely look forward to having that opportunity to play more and open up the character more. And hopefully, as they've done this year, the writers will continue to do so.
Mm-hmm. Kelly, how was it when you came on set?
Coming on to a show that's already been established, where everybody's already been working together, they've got their rhythm, they've got their characters and their history and everything down pat. I mean, it was a lot to have to take in and live up to, but everyone on the show has been so amazing and so awesome to work with. Steve, I don't,
Look, just let them know. Tell them I'm an ass, not only on camera but off. Let him know.
No, Steve and I get along so well. Like, seriously, I could not ask for a better scene partner. I mean, we get along far better as people than Jin and Bryant get along on screen. But he makes coming to work fun every day, and we're professional. We get the job done, but we have a lot of fun doing it, and that makes all the difference.
And I want to say before I let you guys go that your scenes are the funniest. Whether it's meow or that restaurant scene was really funny. So I won't go deep into it, but congratulations. I'm looking forward to see the rest of the episodes. Wherever you guys are at, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank
You too.
you.
Be good. Bye.